30 minutes after your reservation on Turo at the checkout, after 30 minutes past that, you can technically go in and say, hey, my customer's late. So you can report a late, and Turo will pretty much charge and pay you a little bit extra based on how much longer. If they come 2-3 hours late after the checkout time, they're still gonna compensate you for that extra time that and they call it extra usage. So they're gonna do that. But let's say that after 24 hours they haven't returned it. What do you do in this scenario? Over 700 trips out here in Las Vegas as a Turo Power host. We have over 21 vehicles and we're scaling. We're buying a ton of cash cars. Follow that journey. Let's tap in. So technically, after 30 minutes at the checkout, if your guest is still not there, even if they've communicated with you, you can go onto the app and you can actually tap in and report a late. After that, you want to be able to make sure the guest is communicating with you. We've had several guests where they've done it a couple hours later. We have heard from some. Some are really great at communication and they have emergencies, like legit emergencies. And that's usually about 10-20% of the people. But a good amount are, and I'm going to be honest, liars, manipulators. A good amount of them have their own agenda and they're just not good people. And maybe it's because of our market out here in Vegas, but there's really a small percentage that is very genuine with their approach. We've had so many people lie, and even people that there's obviously a dent in the vehicle and they just are like, oh, they just play like they don't even know what happened, even though there's before and after check-in pre-trip photos. So I want to be able to make sure you guys are always covering yourself. So in this case, what do we do when a renter is late? One, do not panic. I remember the first couple times when this had happened, I'd start panicking. I'd be looking at it by the minute and it would mess up my whole day. So one is don't panic, don't worry, don't be anxious. I once heard this quote and scripture in the Bible, be anxious for nothing, but in everything through prayer and supplication. So I just can't be anxious, and I've been able to really learn how to release it, and I'm doing a lot better a year later after running this. So number one is just don't panic. Two, at least you have a tracker, and if you don't, I don't know what you're doing if you don't have a tracker. A lot of people have been reaching out about the trackers that I use. Unless you have 5+ vehicles, I don't recommend the tracker that I use personally, okay? And there's a lot of strategic reasons to that. I'm not going to go too in deep with it. And that's another reason why I haven't shared the tracking company that we use publicly, because there's things that I don't like about them and how they have to hold you in contract. I really don't like that. And I'm very upfront with a lot of people that are refer over. But also, if you don't have a certain amount of vehicles, it's just not worth it. There's so many other tracking companies out there. You can just YouTube best tracking for car rentals and you'll see a ton of stuff out there. Right now, I'm not in the mode of recommending our trackers unless you're really serious about scaling the fleet long term. Then it would make sense. As long as you have a tracker, you're going to be fine. And that's going to lead to my next thing. This person told us they're going to be here at 10 a.m. today as I'm talking about this, and they're actually past 24 hours. Again, this has happened several times, so I'm not panicking. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I look on the tracker. It's 9:20 a.m. They promised last night that they'll be here at 10 a.m. It's 9:20, and they're out in Los Angeles. We're out in Las Vegas. That's 5 hours away. And I said, and I still messaged them, just because, and I messaged them before I even checked the tracker. The thing is, I started to get to this point where I don't look at the trackers every day like I used to. I can care less where the cars are at, to be honest, unless things like this happen. Then I usually look at the tracker. So I messaged them at 9:20. I said, hey, we'll see you in this next hour. See you at 10 a.m. They messaged me 10-15 minutes later and say, oh, we're in Los Angeles. And I already knew, because right after I messaged them, I just checked just to make sure they're around the corner. They're not too far, wherever they're at. And again, this person still hasn't paid. Okay, so let's walk through that next step. So what I did was they told me, and this is really the sad part, but they told me, they were like, hey, this was yesterday, right? Like a couple hours after, they still haven't extended, and they've been extending every day. They just didn't have money. They said, hey, I'm going to be transferring my money into a bank. I'm just waiting. It was a Sunday too. And they're like, okay, I'm just waiting for it to be transferred. And still 24 hours later, there's no extension. There's nothing that was shared. So obviously I reported this to Turo and I let them know. And there's a very strategic way on how to do this, how to make sense so that Turo can actually file their side. And this is really the sad part about just a lot of the guests that we've been getting into or talking to. It's like these people are living from paycheck to paycheck, and it's just showing me how irresponsible people are with money. Like, this person's out in LA, they're actually a local in Vegas. How do I know? We saw their license, so we know they're a Vegas resident, and they were out there for the weekend. It's probably because it was just the Father's Day weekend, but still, just people living from paycheck to paycheck, struggling to extend in a car rental day by day. It's like people plan, and I don't know. That's a whole nother thing I could talk about, and that's why I'm so passionate about helping people build wealth, make some extra income, just so you don't get into these type of situations. And again, I just have compassion for these people. But again, I don't like being taken advantage of. This is business. We don't like getting taken advantage of. What if this car was booked for like 2 p.m. today? There was no extension. Again, this shows a lot of irresponsibility and the type of renters that purchase these economies, right? These day-to-day economies, and are extending it by the limb day by day. So they didn't have money in their bank account. They said they're waiting a couple hours. They even said, hey, I'm not playing with y'all. I'm sorry, And I just want to let you guys know that I'm seriously just waiting for my account to transfer over to my bank so I can pay this off. So what I did was I called Turo after the 24-hour mark. So we already reported the 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we report it. It's good, so Turo already has it. You don't want to wait, okay? And I'm telling you all this because if you wait, then it's going to be past the deadline, and Turo's going to ask you, why did you wait a whole nother day or whatever. So I did it 24 hours at 10 a.m. I called Turo. It was about a 25-minute call. And then they sent this email: we're escalating your return issue. So after 24 hours, supposedly, and I've heard this a few times, they assign a detective if it really gets there. I really don't think they do. I think they, again, I've heard that from several customer support. It might be real. But at the end of it, they're going to go ahead and take this to the trust and safety team. Okay, so trust and safety team gets it, and then from there, they're going to ask you all these questions, and here's a few of the questions. Summary of your action. Did you communicate with a guest? Were you there at the pickup? Did you verify their license at check-in? Did you get a photo of the guest license? Where's the address that the guest received the vehicle? The VIN number, vehicle name, whose name is under the vehicle? Does it have GPS tracking? A phone number of the guest that you have, and then who the registered owner, and then provide the full names, owner and the phone number. So they ask all these questions. I already took that information over, and then they email you saying, hey, we've escalated this issue. Thanks for your patience, and they're going to go from there. So I'm sure they're going to just contact the guest next. The guest already communicated with us and said, hey, I'll be there by like 4 o'clock this afternoon, because obviously it's 5-6 hours. So that's fine. Let's just move forward. I'll tell y'all, Turo support has been pretty solid, like just the basic customer support level to help with like vehicle swaps, issues that are happening with payment processing, just a lot of different stuff, and especially with return. And I like it, it's my Filipinos. Every single time I get on the call, it's a Filipino, so super cool to connect with them. But yeah, I just want to kind of share with you guys this to not panic. Make sure you have GPS trackers, and then make sure you are properly documenting this and making sure you communicate with Turo so that everything's good, you're covered, and they're on this, and they're going to make sure that they also charge the additional usage fee. This person's going to get charged probably for the late fee, the additional usage, for not just 24 hours, but since they're doing it past the 24 hours. So yeah, they're going to get charged. And it's always better when a guest is booking on Turo. It's so much better if they just plan ahead, if they just pay ahead. I get it, last minute stuff happens, but this person's been extending a day for the last 7 days, and it's just so much more with last minute surge bookings and increase. It's so much last minute instead of just planning your trip. This is why I'm saying with the whole finances, this kind of shows the type of people and your everyday, and we get this a lot where people are struggling to extend sometimes, and yeah, I feel bad, but again, you got to learn, you got to take responsibility. I know school hasn't taught us this. Thank God we got YouTube University, Google, and just hanging around the right people. If you guys enjoy this, let me know. Have you guys got this issue? And if you have, well, this is how to overcome it. Just be calm, have peace of mind as long as you got a tracker, right? Some people have trackers with like kill switches and everything. We don't yet. But again, as long as you're okay, you follow the Turo protocol, you'll be fine. You'll get the vehicle back, inspect it, and you'll get paid out for the additional usage. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Any questions, drop them in the comments. I love to read those. Also, I do a day in the life a lot. You guys can check that. I'll probably make it like a series month to month. Check out a day in the life of a Las Vegas power host out here in Vegas. Y'all be blessed. Have a great week. Chat with you soon. Bye-bye.